is obviously not on. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to go into the modes. This is our usual mode, pressure control. On this ventilator, for the most part, we are going to go to volume. The reason we are going to do volume is because it's actually better for the baby, and we're getting all the benefits of the pressure, which is the decelerating waveform, with our volume. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Let's go to a rate of 30. Sorry, it takes forever. Volume 8, that's all looks great, except. And then I'm going to press start. So as a bedside practitioner, you're going to get up to your baby and you're going to see what's going on, right? Make this down to 5 so we can see a little better the waveform. So what this is doing is, if you look at this, we have set a tidal volume of 8. If we go in there, this is our baby size, right? And if you touch tidal volume, it'll tell you how many mLs per kilo that baby is getting. Right now I have a test lung on here that's not going to take too much, so I'm leaving it at 8. But what you want to do is have 6 to 8 mLs per kilo for your baby. And so that's kind of some math you do, but you don't really need to do the math if you set your baby's weight up here. So if you set your baby's weight to 1.1800 grams, done. And then now I go back to that tidal volume, then that's 4.4 mLs per kilo. I'm going to silence that so we're not hearing that alarm. So that's the reason people like this mode, the reason your practitioners are going to order this mode, is because of that tidal volume. We never have the risk, like in pressure control, when we set our PIP over PEEP, if that baby's lungs get remarkably better, they can overventilate and have pneumothoraxes. When you have control of the volume, they can never go greater than this volume. And so that decreased the risk of barotrauma, volutrauma really, and the risk of pneumothorax. So that's what volume control is all about. And we could use this mode in both straight up PRVC or in SIMV PRVC. And this is just the same exact mode, except we have pressure support here. And the pressure support we would set just like we always did, around 8 for most of our babies, maybe 6 for our littles. Okay, so now we have 2 types of breaths, our spontaneous breath that the patient's triggering themselves, and our machine breath. So we can see the machine breath's way bigger than our little tiny pressure support spontaneous breath. Okay. And then as far as what you need to know as a bedside nurse, your vent settings. Back in the old version of our servo, you had to go into a second page to get your vent settings. I'm just gonna, this is only an alarm because my lung is only so big. And that's the only reason it's saying my volume's being restricted. So now you don't have to, if you can't see all your vent settings, you're like, hey, what's my eye time? I need to chart that. There you go. Now you can see everything and you know what to chart. Again, if your kid is acting up, if your baby's acting up and you need to give them an O2 boost, this is the button you would do. And now this one is set for, here, we were playing with it a minute ago. And usually it's 10% above. So we have it set at 30%, so this is going to give it 40%. So if we push that, now that's going to go for, I think it's 2 minutes. And so then if the baby's still desatting because you're doing cares and need a little bit extra oxygen, you can press it again. And it'll let you know when it runs out. The other button that you, of course, want to know about is the alarm. And this is nice because it gives you a couple different kinds of alarms. There's a red alarm and there is a yellow alarm. The yellow alarms, it's like, kind of important, but you don't need to call the RT and panic. Whereas the red alarm is, yes, definitely call the RT and see what's going on. Okay, and I'll see if I can make an alarm go off for you. Let me change the limits on something. Let's change the limits on my peak pressure, on my minute volume. Let's go up. Actually, me take my low limit down. Accept. Okay, so now my alarm is alarming here. And this is a red alarm because that's an important one. So I can silence it, but it still stays red up here until I fix it. So even though it's silenced, it's telling you the problem's not solved because it's red. Does that make sense? And then now if I come over and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot to set that for you. Now, see how it went blue? And you know the problem's actually fixed. Okay, and there is a yellow one that will alarm and can be silenced as well. And I think the yellow one, you might be able to press it twice and get like a longer silence if it's something that you don't need to call the RT about right away. Another thing is if you want to look in here and see what's going on with your patient, there are more numbers in here. A lot of these are things you're as a nurse are not going to necessarily need to know, but it's just in case you want to, it's all there. And if you want to keep it simple, we'll just keep it down to here. Okay, these are your pressures, your pressure waveforms. Green is for your rate and your flow. And then your minute volume and your actual tidal volume right here. Okay, so silence, we covered O2 boost. Let's cover manual breath. There's one other thing we do sometimes, and that's going to be manual breath. So the manual breath button is, this is the kid that's just acting up, not settling down. You may have to give them some manual breaths just to keep them up. So here we're doing, and this is just me giving them some extra breaths. And what that does is a couple things. When we bag a baby, they always get better because we're bagging a little faster, right? And then also it increases the total mean airway pressure and mean airway pressure. See, now I'm doing it both with manual breath. I'm going to oxygen boost at the same time, go in here and do my manual breath. Okay, so that's just something, a little tool that you could use. Obviously, if you're having problems with your baby, you can call your RT. Your RT should be there helping you with this whole situation. But at the same time, I just wanted to give you the information so that you don't feel like you don't have the information you need to take care of your baby on this ventilator. Let me show you a couple other modes. We have regular pressure control. This is what we're used to ventilating on. And just like with our old servos, this is delta P plus PEEP equals total PIP. So 5 plus 12 equals 17. So just be aware of that. So that if they say my set at a PEEP of 17, you're going to look for whatever your PEEP is plus your change of pressure or your pressure control above PEEP to be your total PIP, because they usually only order PIP. On here, we do have some spontaneous modes. Those are fairly rare. Let's go ahead and show you NIPPV though. I think I've got to go to standby for that. Stop ventilation. And then this is, okay, so this is going to be just like it was on our old ventilator when we would do NIPPV through the either the Fisher-Paykel flexi trunk, with a mask or prongs, or our old ram cannulas. Okay, and these are going to be our same settings. So this is a little crazy. Rate of 50, we usually do 20, maybe 30 on some kids as a backup rate. And then this is our PIP. And then again, I have my alarm going off, so I can change it right there.